Some people just have it. It's not about being loud or flashy. It's this quiet, powerful magnetism that just pulls you in. You can't really explain it, but you definitely know it when you feel it. This totally genuine, unforced charisma. And it makes you wonder, right? Why do some people seem to almost glow from the inside out? They're magnetic without even trying, they command respect, and they don't seem to have to prove a single thing to anyone. So what's their secret? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to turn to the legendary psychologist Carl Jung. He had this idea that real, lasting value has nothing to do with your bank account or your job title. Nope, it's all about the journey inward, about actually understanding and building who you are at your very core. He noticed a few key habits in people who had really mastered this, and that's exactly what we're going to explore. All right, so let's start with part 1. Building what we'll call the unshakable inner core. Think of this as the foundation. Everything else gets built on top of this. The very first habit is emotional independence. Now, this doesn't mean you become some cold, detached robot. Not at all. It's actually a super high level of emotional wisdom. It's the ability to know your own feelings so well that you don't let someone else's bad day or their criticism completely derail your own inner state. You're essentially creating a healthy psychological boundary. Think about it like the oxygen mask on an airplane. What do they always tell you? Secure your own mask before trying to help anyone else. It's the exact same idea for your emotional well-being. You can't be a rock for other people if you're not standing on solid ground yourself. That inner calm has to come first, period. And that leads us right into this second habit, which really highlights two totally different kinds of confidence. The first kind, it's fragile like glass. It needs constant validation from other people to stay intact. But the kind Jung was talking about, it's rock solid. It comes from deep self-knowledge, from looking at your whole self, the good and the bad, and just accepting it all. And here's the kicker. The most magnetic people aren't even playing the game of trying to impress you. They're not constantly comparing themselves to others. They're so busy focusing on their own path, their own growth, that they don't have the time or energy to worry about what you think. And ironically, that's what makes them so incredibly impressive. Okay, moving on to part 2. This is all about protecting that inner core we just talked about. It's about building boundaries, not walls. This is how you learn to guard your energy. So this brings us to habit number 3, mastering the art of the boundary. And look, this is way more than just learning how to say no. It's about knowing why you're saying no. It all starts with really getting clear on your core values. Once you know what truly matters, your yeses and your nos just become tools to keep your actions in line with those values. And when you do that, you can protect your energy totally guilt-free. It's so easy to think that setting boundaries is selfish, isn't it? But really, it's the exact opposite. You have to think of it as a prerequisite to being your best self. If all your energy is getting sucked away by things you don't even care about, what's left for the people and projects that you do care about? Absolutely nothing. It's self-preservation for the sake of your purpose. And protecting your energy leads perfectly into habit number 4, practicing holistic self-care. And listen, we're not just talking about bubble baths here. This is about truly getting that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's a real commitment to nurturing your entire being, your body, your mind, and yeah, your soul. Jung saw this as a fundamental responsibility, not some fancy luxury. A huge part of this is having a healthy relationship with solitude. People with that authentic charisma, they don't fear being alone. They actually look forward to it. For them, solitude is when they recharge, reflect, and get back in touch with those core values we mentioned. It's where they get their strength back. Okay, so you've built that solid inner core. You've learned how to protect your energy. So what's next? Well, these final 3 habits are all about how this fully formed person interacts with the world. This is where that authentic charisma really starts to shine, in how you connect with and even elevate the people around you. These last 3 habits are basically the pillars of connection. We're talking about empathetic listening, having consistent values, and a focus on creating value for others. So let's dig into habit 5, empathetic listening. Wow. In a world where it feels like everyone is just waiting for their turn to talk, actually, truly listening is a superpower. This is about hearing more than just the words. It's hearing the feeling behind them, the thing they're not quite saying. It's about listening with your whole being, not just your ears. Now, habit 6 shows us how to live by consistent values, but in a flexible way. This is pretty sophisticated stuff. It's not about being rigid. So, for example, let's say one of your core values is honesty. Well, the way you show honesty to a little kid is going to be and should be very different from how you show it to a coworker. It's that blend of solid principles and situational awareness that Jung saw as a real sign of wisdom. And that brings us to the final habit, number 7, creating value in every single interaction. This is really where it all comes together. When you're with someone like this, you feel totally seen. You feel heard. They aren't looking at their phone. They're not looking over your shoulder. They are 100% present with you. And they make you feel like the most important person in the room. Because to them, in that moment, you actually are. So there you have it. Those are the 7 habits. You can see how they build on each other, right? They start deep inside you and then work their way out into the world, creating a kind of roadmap to a more authentic life. And maybe the biggest lesson here, the thing to really take away, is that the goal is not perfection. This isn't about becoming some flawless human being who never makes a mistake. It's about the journey to become the best, most authentic version of you. That's where the real value and the real charisma is actually born. This journey to your best self, it's a lifelong one. So looking at these 7 habits, I guess the only question left to ask is, where will you start?